for those out there who listen to show after show after show from all across the planet into conspiracy theories, I wish you all the best of luck. The best of luck. Because you'll never ever really catch on that things that you think about are happening are really, really happening. The stations and companies that make their living off conspiracy theories are promoted by the governments as counterintelligence, where you simply go on with the bare facts, quoting from the books put out by the big players, the ones that we know of, the ones that are presented to the public, like the Brzezinskis, like the Maurice Strongs and so on, the ones that have stuff published about them by themselves often. There's nothing conspiratorial about them publishing their own stuff. You don't have to guess at what they're saying. They tell you what they're going to do. So you go on these shows, you see, that make their money off out-of-body experiences and ghosts and all kinds of new agey, which is just old agey stuff. And then the guy that comes on after you is either rehashing the biblical prophecies, which you can interpret 1,000 different ways, to convince the Christian sects, you see, that this is all God's will. And I went through the history a couple of nights ago of how that started off with a particular Bible that was put out. It's now sort of mandatory through all colleges for Christianity. That's where they get all their eschatological stuff to fit in with the end times prophecies and stuff like that. And then they deal with the other ones, the New Agers, by bringing in the UFOs and the aliens and stuff like that, and abductions. And people making a mint with fantasy, and it's okay, that's good enough, and it's a free enterprise system. They can make a lot of money off fantasy, and people just gobble up the fantasy, wanting to believe it's true. But when you go on, as I go on, just sticking to the hard facts of what's happening here that we know of and can prove, you will come under attack. And a lot of people can't handle the bad news. That's why they want all the scattered information. They want the UFOs, they want the ghosts, they want the out-of-body experiences, they want Bigfoot, they want biblical end-time prophecy, because it's all partially fantasy, and fantasy is more exciting. It's also a great way out, thinking, well, if it's all fate, or it's karma, or it's biblical prophecy, etc., there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, if I did anything about it, I'd be fighting God's plan. You see? That's how counterintelligence works. It disarms you. Disarms you completely from doing anything positive. And standing up and saying, enough, you see. Enough. Enough. So therefore I'm only speaking to the ones that say they can handle the bad news, who are a bit annoyed by it, at least a bit indignant about what's happening to their lives and what's going to happen to the lives of their children. And perhaps that's the only group that really matters. Actually, I was on a show once. I'm not kidding. The guy that was coming on, that came on after me, was selling helmets to stop people from getting abducted by aliens. So for the listener, hearing my voice and then going into that spiel, you see, in their mind they simply wrap you into the same mishmash of weirdo fantasy, and they can't tell the two apart. That's called counterintelligence. I don't mind them having the out-body experiences and the ghosts and the Bigfoot and all the rest of it. I don't mind that at all, as long as they don't wrap it around my neck and try to tar me with the same brush. If people have been having out-of-body experiences for thousands of years, I haven't seen it change a darn thing. If people have seen UFOs since it was created and to be popular, since the government started testing stuff way back in the 50s and 40s, then good luck to you. That won't change a darn thing but what's happening today. Not a thing. If they find Bigfoot tomorrow, they can sing a song to you in the forest. It ain't going to make a damn bit of difference to what's happening in your lives. You see, that's all entertainment. That's why it's called entertainment. It's like those lamps you used to sell, those lava lamps they called them, with the bubbles go up and down and all mushed together. That's what happens to the truth when you mix it with stuff like that, you see. And therefore the few that put out the truth are mixed in with conspiracy theorists. Who gave us the term conspiracy theorist? The government gave it to us, you see. Now people join groups. They look for groups that they want to join. What type of conspiracy theorist group do they want to join? You see, there's nothing that comes out of the people from the grassroots ever. That's what Plato said. It's all given to you, and you simply are given a choice between A, B, C, or D. That's like most things in life are like that. During the 60s, it was the blue jean era. Blue jeans came out. That's when they were wearing blue outfits in communist China. The one connected it. So denim blue was everywhere. Later on, they give you a different type of music after the rock, where it was drain pipe pants that were like sprayed on. They were that tight. And then they give you the baggy ones to rebel with. So if you want to rebel, they give you this or that, you see. A couple of choices. Either wear the baggy pants and the squint hats, or you get a crew cut, or shave your head altogether and look tough. Whatever you do or copy to belong means that someone has designed this for you. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. This is the stuff that Bernays was talking about. The last ones to think that they're being manipulated are the ones who copy. And you know why they copy? They copy so they can belong. They want to belong. These are the same people who talk about being one, you see. In the 1700s, they talked about this oneness thing. See, the battle in the 1700s was for the first time individuality. For the first time in history, anywhere on the planet was, in a couple of places, was given a chance. Individuality was given a chance to come to the top for the first time. Before that, there was no such thing as individuality or individual choices, except a certain amount for the elite, small elite ruling class over the serfs and peasants. Therefore, the battle has always been for those who can emerge out of the mass, coming out of the mass, and becoming true individuals. The communist backlash that was created by the capitalist bankers was to try and get everybody back into the oneness idea, the masses, they call it, the masses. And that was what was being chosen for today. That's why the United Nations said its greatest enemy was the individual. They'd have to stop individuality. The masses means slavery, because you're either part of the masses under the same rules and restrictions and laws, the big boot that Orwell was talking about, or you're one of the ruling elites. There's nothing in between. And so right down to, let's say, the outfit that you copy, even to the terminology that you pick up on television when you look into certain ongoing soaps or whatever for your age group, you are being downloaded by people who designed the terminology, the dress, the music, everything that goes along with it has been designed by people you will never, ever meet or even hear about. Most folk don't even think beyond buying the thing. Never mind who designed it or why did they design it. They just want it so that they can belong to the group. The oneness thing. The masses. Others believe in coincidence theories. That's the other authorized version, where things just happen by themselves. Governments are all up front with everything, and they tell us the truth at all times, and they do their best to protect us from the nasty big world out there. And that's the coincidence theorists. But in reality, as I say, you have to come to your own conclusions. Don't be led by anyone, and do your history. If you really are an avid seeker of truth, you'll go into ancient histories and so on, and you'll start to piece things together for yourself. No one else will do it for you. If someone else is doing it for you, you're being fooled. You have to do it for yourself.